Okay. Is that how you want to get started?
Yeah, after that.
Oh my god.
Hey guys, welcome to the fourth episode of Vigorous Table Talks.
Five. Isn't it fifth?
No,
Fourth.
should be four.
Oh, okay. Sorry guys. Sorry.
I mean, I hope so.
He's taking over, so I'm not
taking
used
over,
to it.
yeah.
I'm not used to it.
So, as you guys can already hear, I'll be doing the hosting or moderating today. As you guys all know, usually Kelly is the one that is moderating for Vigorous CrossFit. But today, you guys have to bear with me. And I'll be asking the questions around because we are talking about
The best thing there is. Oh my gosh.
Hey, wait until I introduce you.
Oh my god.
About Olympic weightlifting, right? So this whole episode is going to be dedicated for the sport of Olympic weightlifting, and obviously for the morning crew, the morning goers that go to the VC, you guys know her very, very well. It's very hard to not notice her.
Hey.
But Kelly,
I leave them alone.
Kelly Urea, right?
Oh my gosh, you don't even know my name.
Your last name is Urea.
Yeah, why? I never introduce people by the last
It's the
name.
pronunciation. Urea.
Urea, okay.
I don't know. Maybe there's some way to pronounce it. How do you pronounce it?
My last name?
Yeah.
What does that to do with weightlifting? Oh my gosh.
People to know who you are, huh?
You want my full name or only my last name?
First and last.
Urea.
Urea. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it, right? All right. No. So obviously, this is for her. Just to give a little intro. She loves weightlifting. She's going to tell you guys more about why she loves it. Obviously, that's going to be one of the questions. And we're also sitting with our weightlifting coach of Vigorous CrossFit, Berti.
Hi guys. This is very weird for me.
Is that Theo or Thiel?
Teal.
Okay.
Teal like the color teal.
Oh, okay.
It's blue, right?
Yeah, it's like blue-green.
Blue-green.
But
Something
that's
like
not how you
that.
spell it.
No.
But you always say BT, right?
Yeah, I
Yes.
always say BT.
The first time you said BT, I was like, who's he talking?
I have a really bad habit that sometimes I give people nicknames. So.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool because
That's
we know
okay.
who we're
Yeah,
talking
That's okay.
about.
My name is way too long.
Yeah.
BT.
But yeah, so we're going to be talking about weightlifting. Weightlifting at Vigorous CrossFit is obviously a little bit different compared to maybe what people have experienced at the other CrossFit boxes around in town or in the country. But so what's different with us is that we really focus on the sport of weightlifting. So for us, it's kind of like a double offer that we do, if I can say that, right? So we have CrossFit, but we also do weightlifting in CrossFit. But when you follow our weightlifting classes, it is really intended to, have the same purpose as Olympic weightlifting. So not so much as in the cycling, but literally refining the technical movements of the snatch and the clean and jerk, just like someone just dropping the bar.
Love it.
So yeah, we're gonna be focusing on that for today. And as you guys can hear, my baby girl is with me. She's a little sick, but she'll.
We have a
be
little
sleeping.
host,
Yeah,
a little future weightlifter
Yeah,
in the making.
yeah. Trashing everything. No, but so we're gonna get started with the getting to know a little bit about our guests. Obviously, you guys, usually hear Kelly do the podcast, but yeah, funny enough, she had to really think about why she loves weightlifting.
Still don't know.
Still don't know. we're gonna shoot that question already. So Kelly, here's the first question. Why weightlifting?
To drop the bar, bro. To slam the bar on the ground. No, I was thinking about it because you asked me why I love the sport. And I don't know, I'm gonna take you guys back in how I started doing weightlifting. Maybe we can, in between here,
Let's go reminisce.
Yeah, let's go.
Take a stroll.
So it was 26th of May 1989 and I was born. No, I think I started a lot of people I started at commercial gym because at that time there were not a lot of CrossFit boxes. CrossFit was really small back then. think, I don't know, how, was this 9 years ago, I think?
It was here though, right?
Yeah, in The Hague, yeah. There was a fit for free in my neighborhood. So I started there because it was really cheap, like, you know, to work out.
Really cheap.
So
Did you find a program anyhow? Like
no, I just went. I know my brother used to do fitness a lot when I was younger, but I don't know. I thought it was really boring. But you know, you wanna like do something, so I started like doing the cardio things like everyone else who was scared of doing the machines or a barbell or yeah. So that's how I started, and then I saw that they had a little bit of a CrossFit kind of class. They were introducing CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I saw the barbells and they were squatting, deadlifting. They weren't doing any snatch, clean jerk because that's too technical to do it in a commercial gym. But I saw it and I was like, oh, hey, it looks pretty cool. Like people are dying and they're sweating and they feel awesome after. So I did one class there and I was like, hey. And then I started doing more barbell stuff. And I know I saw a video of myself. I still have it, like doing a 45 kilo deadlift and like feeling like king of the world. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing 45 kilo deadlift, so that was pretty cool. And then I think that's how everybody does, is that you starting to love it. So and then I looked for a CrossFit box, and then I started doing fundamentals. That was the first because it was like it was obligated if you wanted to have lessons there.
Yeah.
And in the fundamentals, that's where you learn like a little bit of the basic Olympic lifting. Yeah. You learn like the basic. You do everything with the stick because the barbell's too heavy. Yeah. But there's like where I had a little bit of a taste of like what's a clean jerk, what is a snatch. But at first I thought it was, oh my gosh.
Because they did run that through.
You get all the fundamentals of CrossFit. Okay. So it's like
nice.
four or five. I did it at the Ninjas. Yeah. And it's like 4 or 5 lessons, and then every lesson you get like the fundamental of like what is a wall ball, how do you use it, like what's a handstand, and like pull up, you know, everything, and then they learn you also the skills version of it. Yeah, so when you're gonna do a WOD, you're not that scared.
Yeah, you're not starting from like complete zero.
No. So that was pretty cool. So I did that, and then I started doing WODs, and you feel strong because I like doing barbell stuff. I like doing deadlifts and squats because I don't know, I have a little bit of strength in me. I think a little bit oerkracht. I don't know how you say it. Inner strength in me, and because I could squat like I don't know. At the beginning, like 70 kilos, I was like, whoa, that's so much. And like, I could clean, not beautiful clean, but I could like power clean, like 40 kilos. So that was, for me, was a lot. Yeah. And that's how I started. But I like the weightlifting stuff, but I was more into the gymnastics. Yeah. Gymnastics kind, because that was more challenging for me because I had the strength, so I was like, okay, I can do this. Yeah. But so I think it took me a year and a half to learn a handstand. I was like, oh my, you know, like everyone starts with one to learn a handstand. Yeah. Like I don't know why. Like
well, it's the basic. Like it's the next. Well, it's not basic. It's the next level. You know, you do your push-ups, you do your pike push-ups. Yeah. So eventually you get into that upside down toes to bar is impressive.
And then that was like my focus more. And then they also had like Olympic weightlifting classes. So I used to go there. And there's where the love a little bit started, but because I knew I could do it, so I was more in the gymnastic things. And I think after a year before the lockdown, I was only doing Olympic classes because I was like, okay, I know how to do the handstand now. Okay. And now the next thing is handstand walk. I was like, nah. It took me a year to learn the handstand. Now it's gonna take me 5 years to do a handstand walk. Yeah. And then I was like, nah, I didn't like the cardio aspect anymore of it. Yeah. I was like, I was starting to like more, I was feeling more in love with the barbell stuff and the technique side of things because you understand things more. You understand why the barbell does.
Sometimes cardio is just cardio.
Yeah. So I started to understand more about Olympic lifting, and then because you like it, you're gonna search and you're gonna know why you're doing something, and then you're gonna ask the coach more things than you would normally do. And then I started a little bit of progression, and then is where I fell in love with it because you have to put in the work to be able to lift heavy. It's not that you just lift. It's not that you just lift heavy. No. At some point, you cannot lift just heavy anymore. You have to be technical good to be able to lift heavy. So I fell in love with the technical aspect of it, and like because it's not just powering things and lifting heavy, because after lifting heavy you have to be technical.
Yeah.
And when you get more technical, you understand the sport, and then I fell more in love with it, because if I learned to do it the right way, in the correct way, I could like lift more. But then my shift changed also from not only wanted to lift heavy, but also wanted to lift beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's also like a little thing that changed with me, because I was just always want to go hard and always PRing.
Yeah.
I think that's also something that changed in the last year and a half. I think a little bit it had to do also with the lockdown. So to fast forward, so I did Olympic classes, I think 2 or 3 years. And then the lockdown came, and then I got a barbell, because I was like, okay, now let's do, because everyone got a barbell and dumbbells, and like the whole world had a barbell, I hope. So to fast forward, I was like, okay, now I want to get technical better, because I love, the love was starting to be there.
Yeah.
And then after the last year, I came here because you guys were doing a lot of technical stuff, and I talked to you about it.
Yeah. I
And
remember.
there's really where the love, evaluated. I don't know how you say
Evolved.
it. Evolved, yeah.
If
that's
I may
it.
add to that part, it's a really funny story, like how Kelly got in contact with us. There was a member, we had a former member called Miriam. She brought you guys in.
Yeah,
and-
she was like, hey, they have Olympic lifting classes there.
Yeah.
Do you want to come? Like, yeah, because I like going everywhere,
Yeah.
just to see how the classes
how people are
how
doing
people are
everywhere,
doing, yeah.
But the really funny thing is like how Miriam kind of delivered the you guys over.
Yeah.
So you had like you and your other friend Luke.
Anouk, yeah.
You guys were popping in, and Miriam would come to me and she goes like, yeah, she's really strong.
Yeah.
Right? And it was like they're really really good lifters. And I'm like, I have no idea what to expect. And we just started the weightlifting classes, and we just started doing like the basic stuff first, because we wanted to establish like the foundation of people and stuff like that. So we weren't lifting heavy at all. We had a couple of heavy lifters, but as a owner, as a coach, you sometimes usually would want to have like, I kind of want to have the ability to give everybody the best experience all the time, and sometimes you need certain people for it as well.
Yeah.
Right? That bring in the moment. But and I was imagining, it's like I kind of wonder what kind of class they're going to be diving into. Because if it's all beginners, I mean, sorry to say, the class is going to be focused on beginners.
Yeah,
That's
it
what's gonna
is.
happen. But it was fun, because then that's where we start to talk a little bit more about weightlifting.
Yeah. And that's where, just so I came here, do a little drop-ins, and then, we like connected, and the love of the sport. I think that's what got me here, because you also have a lot of love for the sport. And then I think I did one drop-in. Were you giving class? No, not yet.
I don't think so.
No.
So I was like, I think I started talking to, I think it was Anneke and Gabi. I think I did the drop-ins. Anneke was there, and I was like, oh, there are more people here who has love for the sport. And that's like where the magic happens. Where magic happens. And then, I came here, and then we did the We Lift.
We'll get to
with,
that. Hold on, we'll get to that.
We're gonna get to
We'll
that. Yeah, so I
part.
came here, and then so I think moving here for me was also like the cue from, okay, I really want to focus on the weightlifting, because I know I can be good. I know I can be like, I haven't reached my full potential yet. That's what I thought. That's what I still think.
Yeah.
I just need to get better technical, and you were a lot of about the technical part of it, and giving me cues. I'm like, okay, now let's go. So I was like, okay. So I think the love for the sport, it took a while for me to fall in love with weightlifting. It was not love at first sight, especially now with the snatch.
Yeah. Because how many times a week, like going back to the lockdown, how many times a week were you able to train weightlifting with your own bar?
Ooh, I think I did once a week training. Yeah, because it's like you're all alone.
Yeah.
In my basement.
Yeah.
And I know I did.
Which is hard, huh?
Yeah.
Which is
And I
hard.
know I did a couple of PTs also with Kira. Back then, Kira's a coach at the Ninjas, and she's so good. She's also the reason why I fell in love with the sport.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I've
she's
seen her
also
lift.
she's a good lifter, but she's also like a really good coach in explaining me things, and I was like, she really knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So I was luckily that she could come to my basement and like learn me,
Oh, nice.
and that's where I learned like the fundamentals, and I I went to
Yeah.
the basic to only barbell.
Yeah.
I went to like cleaning 50-60 kilos to only a barbell, and like I didn't have any weights, nothing.
Yeah.
So you're like, how do you say it? You get back with 2 feet on the ground, bij de voet op de grond. How do
Yeah.
you say that in,
Well, that's the thing though with weightlifting is that the basics of weightlifting is so broad.
Yeah.
There's so much to cover before you actually start.
Yeah, so I was like,
Right?
okay, I'm there. I can squat clean a little bit, and like my power snatch is really good. So I was like, but I knew someday you have to go back.
Yeah.
If you really want to be good at something, you have to
Yeah.
go back
Yeah.
to the basic.
Yeah.
And I think that humbled me
Really
because I had to go back to the
Yeah.
basic. I didn't have any other choice. Like, okay, I really want to do the sport. You have to go back. You have to go to basics.
Yeah.
I could not drop because I didn't have any weight. So I think that's where also the love for technique evolved a little bit in understanding more
Yeah.
the sport.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's an investment, right? You put
Yeah.
in so much time, and you actually see it back,
Yeah.
right? So you immediately see like, hey,
It's
I need to start
measurable.
moving better.
Yeah, it really is. If you like, if I can fast forward a little bit right now, I'm like since I came here, I'm not even a year here now. I think I came
Yeah, I think you are a year.
in September. I came. I'm a year now.
He's definitely coaching here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I came
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing so much progression just by going
Yeah.
back and like working on the technique part of it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how do you see progression with technique? You know, with weights, I know, okay, now 5 kilo more PR, okay, you know, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But how do you improve? Like, it doesn't look, you don't know. So, so luckily, I like to film myself a lot. Yeah, just put on a grab, but also to know what am I doing, or how is my lift going? What am I doing? And that's how I see the progression. Like I see a video from me like 2 years ago, 3 years
Because
ago.
it's a slow sport.
Yeah.
It's not a fast
And you
sport.
have to like,
No.
but that's also a thing. Like you really have to have patience. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I guess like the improvements is really in the small things. And
Yeah.
Only when you look back at it, like I don't know, maybe 6 months is a good way to just recap everything.
Yeah.
Right? That's when you actually see your big progressions.
Yeah.
Like day-to-day basis.
No.
you're not gonna see
No, it's a struggle day to day because it's one of the reasons people fall in love with it, but it's also one of the reasons it can push people away.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a routine at a certain point, and it's the same rep over and over and over and over and over. And in some ways, that simplicity is very beautiful when it comes to weightlifting because it's easy to understand in a way when it clicks. Hard to get there at the beginning, but like what Kelly said, it's
Yeah, because you don't know what you are doing. You're like no,
Yeah,
but
you're
you learn
literally trying to
it
figure
through
out,
CrossFit. Like that's where I learned it also. Like we all learn it through CrossFit, and it's a lot of barbell cycling and like just getting the bar up. Doesn't matter how.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you really do the Olympic lifting, like the fundamental, the technique thing, it's really different.
Yeah, because on the one hand you have I'm going to lift to achieve the shortest time and the most weight and the longest distance, and on the other hand you have I'm going to try to make it as pretty as I can, and I'm going to try to my priority is to lift efficiently.
It depends on what the goal is.
I'm lighter and I'm not as strong as the other person, but I still want to lift as much or more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lift smart, not hard.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of what the difference is.
Well, what would you guys say would be like, you know, obviously we're taking the assumption that most of our listeners know CrossFit and know the difference between Olympic weightlifting. But to hear it from you guys a little bit, let's start with Berti, is like, how would you explain the CrossFit that we do over here versus the weightlifting that we do over here? I mean, then purely with the barbell cycling stuff.
Yeah, I think that this box in general it's different than other ones in the region because we focus a lot more on the beginning phase of the training in CrossFit and in weightlifting. That means that we put more effort into teaching people the correct movements and how to do those movements correctly and how to prevent injury. One, and then we focus on building upon those foundations that we build, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more focus on keeping the weights at your own intensity so that you can train at that intensity and improve yourself. So at the end, it's a race against yourself. It's not really a competitive, we're all against each other.
No, because it's that. I think that's the biggest difference, right? Is there's weight classes and weight
Yes, exactly.
versus in CrossFit.
Exactly.
Versus the amount of reps.
But if I have to go, if I have to condense it down into what is the difference between CrossFit and weightlifting, like I said before, one is focused on a complete other goal than the other, right? One is like I said before, it's the shortest amount of time, the most amount of weight at the longest distance, and the other one is lifting the most amount of weight at the least amount of body weight. Most efficient.
Yeah.
And I think that's basically like hitting the nail on its head. Is like that's when weightlifting becomes serious.
Yes.
Right? Because you can follow, in my opinion, whether you follow a basic class here or just a regular class, and we run through the weightlifting, you get as technical as it is with regards to Olympic weightlifting. It's just that our Olympic weightlifting is obviously a little bit more. It's an hour, so you have to real focus. Yeah. But I think, the difference with people pushing it a little bit more further and understanding the real work of weightlifting is beyond the technical aspect alone. Yeah. But I think also it's the technical plus the weight, or at the weight. Right?
Exactly. It's the technical at the weight.
Yeah. Because then it's struggle.
Yeah.
But I also think it's the difference. I think here is really I feel there's a lot of difference between saying, okay, this is a CrossFit class or this is a weightlifting class. And I like the difference because okay, I'm going to a weightlifting class. You feel it like that's, and I think that's really good because okay, it's a weightlifting class now, okay, it's different. I have to move slower, it's different intensity.
Exactly, because ultimately the vision, or at least the vision that I have for my classes here that I program, is that I don't want it only to be about weightlifting. Ultimately it is, but I want it to also be like a support class for people who do CrossFit.
Yes.
Because there is also something to gain from lifting efficiently and lifting technically correct, right? Because there's only so much you can do with strength. At a certain
but that's
point.
also what a lot of people don't know. It's what I used to tell like the morning crew. I see the morning crew a lot, but I tell them a lot like because sometimes there is barbell cycling right in the WOD, and then they struggle a lot with it. Okay, hey, where do you pull or how do I do this? I'm like, do a weightlifting class. Yeah, but it's like just going heavy. I'm like, no.
Exactly, right?
People think weightlifting is like, let's just go as heavy as we can. No, you learn really the correct way also to do the barbell cycling. They don't know, like, you have to go to the basic. You have to know where do I pull. So that's why I keep telling people, like, just go. And that's why the weightlifting classes here are so good, because you learn like the fundamentals, but it's not only weightlifting, weightlifting style like heavy or rest 5 minutes, you 1 rep. There's a little bit you try to do. I try to combine it a little bit to meet the two worlds in the middle, because and I think that's really good that you do that, because that's the vibe I get.
But I mean, it's trial and error. I had to fall down before I figured out a way to do it. Yeah. But you're right. It's not a classic weightlifting class in the sense of you have your sets to do and then you break and then more sets.
It's also longer. Right?
That's also a longer session.
Yeah, this is different. That's like if you really want to do really that's, if I can say, that's the program people have like during competitions and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's a whole different game.
That's a different ball game completely.
But to like, hey man, I tell people a lot, do a weightlifting class, like, and you don't need to go as heavy as you can. Like, there's no need
that's
to.
The biggest misconception.
Yeah, that like people think it's like PR day every day, the weightlifting class.
But it's the same thing I say. Like, you go to a hospital, you don't see healthy people walking around.
No,
right? You see like injured, sick people or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You go to fitness. Technically, everybody should be here for when you're attending classes. You should be able to try to enhance your skills.
Exactly.
And then, yeah, the thing is that what's so nice about the team at the moment is that, under the guidance of BT, of course, is that we're currently entering weightlifting, right? So this is where we transition a little bit. Later on, I kind of still want to go back to how BT got into the weightlifting, right? That's a really interesting topic.
Backstory.
Even I'm really curious about.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go.
Actually, yeah, let's go right now, right?
Okay, I can break
So
that
it's
ice.
that-
Before we get
June
into
5,
the,
right?
the current.
1989.
Yeah, 1991 was.
1991. Oh.
Yeah, no. Just to give a little bit of context, I was never really the one to sport a lot. At a certain point, I became a teenager, and I saw that I started gaining weight and all of that shit. Fast forward, I finished my school, and I went to study in the Netherlands, and for one or the other reason, I went back to Aruba, and this was in 2015.
Oh, this is
you went back.
not that long ago.
Not that long ago, no. It was 2015, and I was, and I thought to myself, okay, I have to change my life. I was
How old
a bit
are you?
overweight.
250?
So, let me think about that. Now it's 22.
You're 22 right now?
No,
what?
it's 2022 minus
Around.
7 years ago. That means that I would be
Math.
23, 24.
Oh, you're
around.
just like starting.
Yeah, I was
Life.
pretty young. And I wanted to start something with fitness, but I didn't know where to start. And my sister had advised CrossFit because she's been doing it.
Oh, it's your sister also.
Yes,
Okay.
and she has been doing it for like a few months. And they had a fundamentals class that you could follow,
Yeah,
just like you
like
did
the
in the
fundamentals
Ninjas,
thing.
right? It's like 4 weeks, twice a week. You go and you
Yeah.
learn all of the basics in CrossFit. And in that period, I met my future weightlifting coach. And during that fundamentals period, also I kind of fell in love with not only the CrossFit and all of the sports that come with it, but also with the art of giving classes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And
Did you not know you had it in you?
no,
Like-
I didn't.
Oh, so
I
cool.
didn't at all.
Yeah.
No, I always had liked to speak in front of groups and stuff like that, but I
Yeah.
never really thought
Are you
that
really
would be my
social
thing.
person?
Yeah, I can be. But so it was 2015. I started the CrossFit Fundamentals program that they had. And I met my weightlifting coach. And during that period, you were practicing snatches and
Yeah.
cleans and all of that. And he had seen that I was mobile.
Yeah.
That I could go in the bottom of a squat with the bar over my head with no problem. And he had asked me if I wanted to compete in
Oh,
weightlifting.
cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
And that he would guide me through that, and that's what I did also.
Was he also the weightlifting coach at the box, or he was just
He was a coach at the box.
a coach?
He was there. They didn't have an official weightlifting class or weightlifting any
So
of
he
that.
just gave that on the side.
Yes,
But he was a full. Well, no, not full time. But he was also.
he was a CrossFit coach. Yeah.
But was he? Besides that, was he also a weightlifting coach?
Yes, he was a weightlifting coach and a powerlifting coach and a CrossFit level 1. But he
Like
had.
all the CrossFit coaches. They can do
Yeah,
everything.
he had he had
It's
lived
CrossFit, yeah.
he had lived in the Netherlands for a long time, and
Yeah.
he had competed in powerlifting and weightlifting and all of
cool.
that. And when he went back to Aruba, he got a job as I think he was head coach. I'm not sure, but it was
Yeah.
the same place that Kira started coaching. Also.
Yeah. Eso
Yeah.
Akira, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's where I also met Kira, and
Oh, that's so cool, yeah.
I
It's
got
a small
classes.
world,
from- it's a
weightlifting
very
world.
small world. It's not only that. The Hague is small. Aruba is small. That whole community is small.
Oh, that's so cool. So
Yeah.
you did competitions.
Yes. So we had figured out a program, like a 12-week program to go to competition. And during that period is where I really, really, really fell in love with. Well, like you said before, it's the sport to encompass all aspects of it. But I think I've said this before. It's more about learning the skill. That's what
Yeah.
I truly fell in love with. Is learning a new skill and
Yeah.
being able to do it
The
good,
correct- yeah,
the correct
the
way,
correct
the
way, yeah,
efficient way. Because you've always seen those big guys walking around in gyms. Those guys that ego lift, pumped up. Yes, which is nice to do. It's nice to be that powerful, but I think it's very nice to be finessed.
I did not know that they were so pumped up, but they were not strong.
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
that was also a thing. Like I thought, if you're like so huge, you must be like really strong, but they're not.
No, so here's the thing, a little outside the story, right? Current hype is like debunking lifting heavy. So they're basically what they're saying is like saying lift a lot of light weights for a lot of repetitions.
Yeah, so
that's the way to grow your volume.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is obviously typical old school weightlifting. But you look at the classics, Ronnie Coleman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can't tell those guys they were lifting light.
No, that's why when I started, I'm sorry, so when I first started like looking for weightlifting things, and then you're gonna see movies, you wanna watch like the big girls, and then there were like, so there were weight classes. I did not know you had to be like a certain weight. So I started looking at the weight classes. I'm like, okay, 50 kilos, 55 kilos. They were doing like 80, 90 kilo snatch. I'm like, they're so skinny. I'm like, bro, how? I was like, that's also a thing that I feel so in love. I'm like, you're using every muscle. You're so strong with so little body weight. Oh my gosh, that's where I was like, I got mental. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to do this. So that's a little bit on the side.
That's precisely what it is, and that's precisely why we fall in love with it. Why we do all of that. It's because it's about learning a new skill, and it's about coordination, right?
Yeah.
You're coordinating movements in your body to throw a weight that possibly twice your body weight over your head, right? And you're trying to do that not only using all of your muscles for strength, but you're moving efficiently, you're throwing it efficiently, and you're catching efficiently. And it's just beautiful to be able to do that, and you're twice as small as the guy next to you.
But that's the beautiful thing, because it talks about relative strength.
Exactly.
I mean, like obviously powerlifting, they try to push the limits, right, of what a human can be. With regardless of their body weight, they just try to lift as heavy as they can to set that epitome of world record in the lift, right? But weightlifting is really that balance between, because you can't say it's all technique. No, you still need. You still require
technique.
You can't keep snatching and trying to hope to improve your snatch without doing your snatch deadlifts and your components.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right?
I think that's also a thing. Like, if you really wanna be good at weightlifting, like you have to go back and do all the small things.
Yes, exactly. Because there's aspects to it. Like it's an intricate dance between strength and technique and body awareness and movement and all that.
But the body awareness also, that's also a thing, like knowing, like, let's start with the lats, knowing where you need to
knowing what has to be tightened, how it has to move and where, and that's also, like I said before, that's a part where it can scare people off, because body awareness is not something that we are taught to handle as kids. It comes a lot later in life. And I equate weightlifting almost like dancing. It's a dance that you're doing. You're trying to time everything right. You're trying to coordinate everything right. And it's just fun. It's really fun.
Hey, I know. Every time I see, oh man, right now, because you have so much love for the sport, and when you see a beautiful lift, sometimes I see a beautiful lift in the class, I'm like, oh, nice.
Yes.
You gotta commend it.
Because you know how much work people put in, and how hard it is to lift correctly. That's why, hey guys, just do a weightlifting class. Like, just for the technical part of it, for the fundamentals, just do it, a weightlifting class. Once in a while. You don't need to go like every week to a weightlifting, but once in a while it's good for you.
Exactly, because we've only talked about the physical aspects of weightlifting now, but if you really look at the sport itself, there's a huge mental aspect that comes with it. Because like we talked about, right? When you start, it's hard because body awareness sometimes is not there, and it's movements that you're not really used to, and that's where you're confronted with your own physical weaknesses, right? What you can't do, and it's that's the point where people say, okay, I'm going to push through and I'm going to learn these new things, or the people go the other way and go, I'm going to cycle the bar and I'm going to go as hard as I can. That's usually the cutoff point. But
because I also underestimated how mental the sport is.
yes,
If you're going to do more technical stuff,
yes,
like the focus really needs
yes,
to
because
be
you can be perfectly prepared. You can do your program and do every rep correctly. You can lift consistently, but on the day itself, if somebody gets in your head, that little domino piece.
not even somebody, if the snatch.
If you look at yourself wrong in the mirror, it everything crumbles down. And it's also not about training the body, but it's about training yourself. Whenever you don't want to do all of those reps,
that you do the
that's
work,
when you have to go.
So what do you guys do basically to just kind of make yourself focus? Right? Let's say that happens. Something just pops up into your head. Right? Since we're talking about that focus, how do you gain focus or regain focus?
I think right now, it's not that I start and I think, oh, I'm gonna have a shit training, or like, I try, like, because I'm doing this a little bit more now, I try when I open the door of the gym to leave everything behind. But that's also a skill I had to learn, to not take what's happening in life in the gym,
outside,
work in the gym, like try. That's what I also do is like, I don't look at my phone. I look at my phone because that's where my program is. But I used to put it on like not vliegtuigmodus, but silent. So it's just me lifting for 2 hours. No, how do you say it? No distractions. Just me lifting, and that's one thing I'm trying to do. And so, if I can, like, I think I learned a lot with the lift that we did with competition. Because I have never done a competition training before, and that's like, it's a whole different game.
It's a different ball game.
So I learned a lot in these, I think we did 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I also learned that it's okay to fail a rep.
Yeah.
That you have to learn to say to yourself, it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay, I failed it. Okay, I'm gonna fail it again. I had a snatch session, I think 2 months ago, where I had to do like 40 kilos, and then I had to do 45 kilos, and then 40 kilos went great, 42 and a half went great. I did 45, I missed it. I did 42 and a half, I missed it. I did 40, I missed it. And then I stopped. I was like, okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna quit now. It's okay that's not working. Like I have really good, I have really good sessions, and sometimes you just have a bad session.
But you gotta keep going.
And that's like, at the moment, it was really shit. I was like, I was starting to cry. I was like going to cry. I was like, oh my god, why am I doing this? You know, like you want to stop everything, but it's also okay to think. I think it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to think, okay, it's not gonna work today. Okay, I failed my training. It is okay.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know you're gonna see the gains.
You're gonna see the results, one, but also it's not only okay to be comfortable with yourself failing, because then you also look at competition in a realistic way.
Right? That comfortable with
it's
yourself failing.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
You're preparing yourself in a way, and to go back to your question, how do you refocus yourself, is a very, very difficult thing to do. But the way that I find easier for myself is, with the years I've learned that you learn to get to know yourself better, right? And through training you do that because you spend a lot of time alone and in your head. And I have learned that there are some triggers. There are some things that trigger me, and you have to recognize what those triggers are. And then it's about convincing yourself that anxiety that you have now is not real. Right? Where it comes from, you have to know. And when all of that becomes clear, you can refocus. But that process, the training to make that process as short as possible is what it's really hard.
But also what you just said, like, that was also a thing, is that weightlifting, if you really want to do only weightlifting, you're all alone. I had to be, because I came here and then was like, classes, I was doing class. I'm not a really social person. I need to like talk a lot with people and stuff. And then it's just 4 or 5 days, me in the back, just putting in the work. And I know at the beginning, I think the first 2-3 weeks, I was like, how I'm like, I feel so alone.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? And that's when you really get to know yourself better,
Yeah.
because you're all alone and you have a lot of rest between reps, so you're all in your head.
Yeah.
You're in your head the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it happens, where you have to like, okay, why am I thinking? Why it's triggering me? Why is
Yeah,
this? Why am I
exactly.
thinking about
Exactly,
this?
exactly.
Or leave it alone.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is
Yeah.
another
Like,
day. Not think about it.
Failing to focus on your training will actually do more damage than failing the rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Because if you
exactly
fail a rep, at least you tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you're like all in there. Because I mean, like that's kind of like my experience as well. As like when I look around when people train, right? So there's to give a little bit of context now into the team. So there's 6 people, right, that we have in the weightlifting competition, right? So obviously Kelly's in it.
Hey, for the people who don't know, 26th of June.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do a competition. Host. So the 26th of
Oh
June.
wait, you're talking about that one. Yeah, okay.
No,
I'll come
but
back
that's
to
where
that.
you're going, right?
No, I
For
was
the
going to
competition.
the wheel lift.
Yeah, the weighlift. This is
Is that
26th.
26th of June.
When is ours? 9th of July.
23rd of July,
Oh, shit.
like a
Okay.
month after.
I gotta get my
Yeah, like, bro, he's also going, guys. He doesn't even know where the date is. Oh my
Going
god.
to the wrong day.
What is that?
I'll be like, where's everybody?
Yeah.
Shit, I peaked at the wrong moment.
Yeah. Okay, so the 23rd of
26th.
June, 26th.
26th of June.
26th of June.
26th
Sorry,
of
guys.
June.
26th of June
Yeah.
is the wheel lift for everyone who wants to join. Let's go all together. Okay, no, you can do it. Yes, sorry.
So yeah, no, but we'll have the specific date obviously in the link or somewhere in our Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's 6 athletes this time. Last time, our very first weightlifting competition that we pushed was actually only Kelly and Gabby under the supervision of BT. Now we have a group of 6 people. Let's see. Let's give the shout outs. So we have Kelly, obviously. We have Gabby going again for the second competition. The newer guys. Is it the only guys after this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only guys.
Emerson,
Yeah.
Mr. Mingo, and
Sutris.
Sutris, right? And then
You.
oh yeah, me, right?
Oh yeah.
So we're all diving into this program, and yeah, it's gonna be exciting work. I say work because, yeah, I honestly have to say, even though this is going to be our second competition, and you know, we always still have a lot of stuff to learn in terms of preparing for competitions, running things through, troubleshooting the faults, but we've already been preparing for this. It's like, you know, I hopped into a weightlifting program, like I'm supposed to be in my week 10 already, right? And then most of the guys started 3 weeks ago.
3
4
weeks ago, yeah.
Right? With BT's program. And Kelly, you've been in the program.
Yeah,
for
I started.
quite
So
some
I
time.
did a competition 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that's where I peaked,
Yeah.
and now I'm starting again for the weightlift. And then I'm gonna go harder. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
starting again with the cycle.
Yeah. No, that's very good. So, yeah, at the end of the day, we're gonna have like a bigger group of people, and that's basically where we want to go with Vigorous CrossFit. Is like we want to motivate, encourage more people to start, you know, challenging themselves. Like, you know, in the back of my mind, like I always ask myself, like, what do I expect from this weightlifting competition of myself? And to be honest, is like above the actual event. Because the event will help you actually run through the process.
Yeah.
That's definitely a guarantee what's going to happen, right? If you signed up, and that's the reason why I always say is like paid competition is always going to be a better push than free competition.
Yeah.
Free competition is like, you know, to say it in Dutch, you just join for spek and bonen.
Yeah.
You say that in English again?
For bacon and meat.
Shits and giggles,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to take it that seriously, right?
Yeah.
But when you pay for it and there's like, you know,
Where you're working.
it's a
towards,
real kind of a deal,
Yeah.
right? That, well, in this case, like this 12 weeks or whatever it may be, like 10 weeks of programming, you're gonna take that really, really serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, like when you're already in that position and you're gonna go through the process, that's already a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you
Results.
do
Hey,
at the
Results.
competition.
I wanna give a big SO to Berti for making the program for the guys, but also everyone who's putting the work, man. I see them every day. As how Sutra is in the morning. I come a lot in the mornings because I think
The
it's
grunt
chill.
work is real. Huh?
Yeah, like you see them like struggling and like
Yeah.
looking not that happy. I'm like, hey, I was there.
Yeah,
I know how it feels.
Yeah.
So but that's the real deal,
yeah.
right? It's I think it's nice to see like that the box has different levels. You know, you have people that come in for fun, which is they can find the fun in the workouts in a group setting.
Yeah.
You have the people that run special program, right? Besides the Olympic weightlifting, we actually have like a handful of competitive athletes now that are in individualized programming, which are pretty soon ready to actually compete as well in a CrossFit competition.
Yeah, so that's also pretty cool. Everyone is doing, that's where I saw, like everyone is doing their own thing and being great at what they do.
But at the same time, you know, you don't lose that aspect that we're all still like members and we're all, you know, equal. It's like, I guess in my position, I'm really happy to say that the community that we have is like, there's no such thing as, oh, I'm a competitive person now, or, you know, so I don't mingle with.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that everybody understands that competition is just a temporary thing.
Yeah.
Right? You hop into it and you're out of it.
Yeah.
Right? So you're not...
Because the training continues. The training continues like every day.
Yeah.
The competition is just once. And then you focus. But I also learned is that, okay, training for competition is different, but it's still the same focus. Like you have to have the same focus in a normal training. Yeah. And you have to have the same focus in a competition training. Just the load, the volume, the intensity that changes.
Those are different.
But what I see here is that everyone has the same focus. It doesn't matter if they're like competing or not.
Yeah.
When a competition is coming, you hear more about, hey, people get more excited. So, hey, thank you guys. Thanks everyone who was asking me, who asked me how it was. Like, I love it. Like, keep asking me things. Like,
but funny enough, when you say that focus thing, right? Because personally, I'm a little bit more into that focus thing as well. Because you get so much more done. But not talking about myself though. It's like yesterday we heard that Jort and Remco got first place in the Enjoy Your Buddy division.
Pretty cool.
And the funny story about that is that Jort was already signed up for that for quite some time with I think Arjen. One of our members here, but he had to bail out, so he asked Remco. Yeah. And to give you guys a little story on Remco actually had a little injury on his, I think it was wrist or thumb.
Yeah, he walked around like.
Yeah, he was walking around.
Broke his left wrist.
Yeah. And he was walking around. He couldn't train as much, right? Can't grip it, can't lift it.
Yeah.
But funny enough, so he jumped into this competition, and all of a sudden, like I hear like. They got first place and stuff like that, and I'm like, snap. That's just because if you guys know Remco and Jort, right? These guys, when you talk about like focus, they have like they're always present. Yeah. But it's not like they're also in an individual program. So what I'm trying to say is like, you know, when you're focused on your training, eventually you'll be competitive ready. Yeah. Right. And in my experience, that's basically where our competition. Decision making comes from. It's like obviously we don't just hop into a competition without any preparation. No. I'm not going to be that coach where in like when we talk about like the boxing world, hey, you've just had your 4 weeks of training, let's go take on the world champion. Yeah. Or like a professional boxer, you'll do fine, you know, they can't kill you. But they'll beat the crap out of you, right? Yeah. So I'm not the type of coach to
go out there and learn.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So you know, some seriousness needs to be done in certain trainings before we actually let people go or encourage them to do it.
But I think that's pretty cool. I think you feel also when you put in the work that you feel ready if you are ready to compete or not.
Yeah, you just see the results.
You see the results.
You see you can.
And it depends on if you want it. Like I have a lot of people here also who are like pretty cool but just doing watts. Yeah. And they're just doing like little insight. The open was also pretty cool for the compete people because a lot of people like got to have a taste a little bit what's like to compete and I know a lot of people loved it also. Yeah. So that was like everyone has their own little competition in what they want to do. Yeah.
Because I mean, I think ultimately half of sports, if you're a competitor, is your mental game. Yeah. That's where it starts and ultimately ends. because you have to be strong in not only motivating yourself to train during your training period, but you have to motivate yourself to focus and keep yourself in that place of focus. And that's why I repeat a lot in my classes, make your own little ritual, make your own little start at the bar, because those little nuances, those little things that you do at the beginning bring you into focus.
Yeah,
especially with weightlifting.
Yeah.
With weightlifting is like, you have to, but that's a mental game. Like I had to learn to like walk to the bar, because I'm really a hype kind of person.
Was it hard to take your time to walk to the bar?
At the beginning, yeah.
Because you weren't rushing?
Yeah,
You
because because so that's the thing I'm learning now. Like, you see a lot of me dipping, like a lot. I have to dip really slowly. That's also a thing, because that's what people do a lot. So I'm gonna. It's like when you clean a bar, you know, guys, you clean and then you jerk it. I see a lot of people like doing the jerk really fast. Like, okay, let's go, let's get it over with.
Yeah.
That's what I did, like walking to the bar. Okay, you're so scared, so like you go to the bar and then you're not even done like flexing, or like you're not even done putting in the work. You just go.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I really had to learn, is to like get the heart rate down, because I'm a really hyped person. Like, oh man, I want to like everyone scream at me and be hyped. Yeah. But when I walk to the bar and when I do my rep, that's also the focus thing I had to learn. It's like I shut everyone out.
Yeah.
It's just me and the bar.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you learn when you get competitive, is that you have to shut everything out.
Yeah.
You know, you like
you really have to dial
you have to, because it's just you and the bar. And if you walk to the bar already thinking, I don't want this, it's not gonna work. It's not.
Yeah,
like you really have to go for it. So that was one thing I really had to learn.
Yeah.
To just like go to the bar, take your time, and look around. That was really cool. Did you say that? I think you said it to me the first time we did the competition. Did you? I don't know who said it. But so just go, look around, and get the room, like feel the
take
room.
it in.
I think you said that to me. I was like, because I know, okay, this is a really cool story. I want to tell it because it's really funny. So when we did the competition last year, I did the first rep. I had to do the snatch, and then I missed the snatch. So I came back. I was like almost crying. So Berti came to me. He was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What am I doing with?" He's like, "You really like this, right?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why are you enjoying it? Why are you going so fast? Take your time." I'm like, "Okay." Because you get so nervous. And I know the second rep, he's like, "Enjoy this."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, coach, I'm gonna enjoy this." So I know the second rep, I walked. I looked around. I think I waved at the judge. Yeah. I took my time, and then I did the lift. And
on the snatches, you were a little bit. That was your, I guess, your period to just kind of ease into it.
Yeah.
When you clean the jerks, you start.
Yeah, but I love clean jerk.
Yeah,
like,
cracking jokes.
Yeah, I love it
like
because but the snatches are like.
Yeah.
So that's.
Let me finish my story about how I got into it. After that whole first competition, I was asked again the year after to participate again in another competition, and during that year I took the time to walk with him and to do like I wouldn't call it an internship per se, but it was more like a shadowing him and practicing with the rest of the team and doing that. And at a certain point, I did the USAW course that they had. And after that, I decided to move to the Netherlands, and I came to the Netherlands, and I got a job in planning. And I thought to myself, okay, I have to find somewhere to do CrossFit and all of that. And I got myself to the first box where I was. And they, at a certain point, they had not any coaches. That was the problem. And I had a little bit of that experience with me, but I still didn't have my level 1 yet. Yeah. So I talked to him and I was like, listen, I can do this. If you give me a chance, I can do this. So he gave me a chance. I did it. And at the end, I was like, okay, I kind of want to do this. I really like this. Cool. I really like this, and I want to try to see how it can bloom into something else. Yeah. And that's where I got my level 1 afterwards, and I got more into the training aspect, more into the coaching aspect of it, and programming, and at a certain point you also get acquainted to the mental aspect of it. So you start to think about lifting not only as being strong physically, but being strong mentally.
No.
And that's kind of where I am now, meaning trying to teach not only how to do the physical movements correctly, but teach the athlete also to be prepared for failure and to be prepared for confronting themselves.
Yeah, that is more. But aren't you? Don't you want to like perceive your own weightlifting career? When did that? When did you think like, okay, I want to put it on the side?
I didn't think that I would put it on the side. It was just, I think for me, I moved to the Netherlands and priorities shifted.
Yeah.
So I had to just give context. Before that, I lived at home with my parents, basically.
Yeah.
So I had more time and space and all of that to do the training. And when I moved here, it was, okay, I had to start up my own life, basically.
Yeah.
And that's how the priorities shifted. So I started to train less. And to compensate training less, I started to coach more. To stay in that world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And ultimately,
because you love the world. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I kind of like that more than training myself. I don't feel like I have to prove anything anymore.
Yeah.
In training, I think I already did that. I mean, I snatched more than my body weight, and I almost snatched clean and jerk twice my body weight.
Oh,
so
cool.
I was happy with that.
Yeah,
I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Because I also lost a lot of weight. I went from 86 kilos to like 77, a little bit below 77. So I went down.
Wait, how much do you weigh now?
Now I'm 69. I lost even more weight actually. But so I lost a lot of weight and I got into it. Yeah.
Forever stuck at the same weight.
But
you don't want him to
competitive
weightlifting.
But that I enjoy now the process of guiding people to go to competition and teaching people new skills and all of that and just watching the happiness happen. You know, watching people, like you said, get that first beautiful snatch that everything clicks, and in that moment where you catch it, you go, fuck yes, this is what the training was for. Yeah. And it's only 2 seconds, even less than 2 seconds. Yeah, but it's all worth it just for that moment.
Do you feel like you're
hours to master this?
Yes.
Sorry,
do you feel like does that make you a good coach if people have moments like that?
Yeah, I think that ultimately, because in the weightlifting world, maybe that's for another podcast, but in the weightlifting world, there's a certain type of culture that lives in that world that I didn't really like at the beginning, and I took that in my philosophy for training too. So my athletes, I don't care if you win. I want you to have fun.
Oh, for
I want
the
you to be
competition.
Yes, I want you to be happy with yourself and your progression, because at the end of the day, you have to be happy.
Yeah.
You have to be happy with your own progression, with your own getting stronger. It's not about having trophies, and it's not about that. It's about mastering that skill and knowing that I learned something new and I can do it fucking good.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. There's a trap in that sense when people get competitive, is that they start to lose themselves or have, I would say, secondary priorities, if that makes any sense. You get what I mean? It's like they start to chase numbers.
It becomes about the win instead of about the process.
Yeah. I mean, I'm chasing numbers myself, you know. I mean, that question Kelly asked is basically thrown at me all the time. It's like, why aren't you competitive, right? And that's actually the most straightforward answer I can also give. Life just happens.
Yeah.
We decided to create a CrossFit box. I decided that we want to enhance the weightlifting, you know, in the vision that we want to have, and that takes a lot of time.
It's a big thing, like putting yourself aside.
Yeah.
Like for something else. But it's pretty cool that you found your love in something else.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, I would love to do it like a full-time thing. I think that's also where my goal is to ultimately go. I just like it way too much to not want to be in it.
There's a trap in that as well.
Yeah.
I think in.
Yeah, but it's like you're just getting. Yeah, you're not just getting started. Yeah, you're just getting started because you're here like a year now. Where the weightlifting figures is still like growing.
Exactly.
Like the lockdown is finally over. So, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot of things.
It's a lot of,
and now we're finally just starting to like blow up a little bit.
Now we have the space for it.
Yeah, and now you feel it like with the last. I know with the last weightlifting competition, it was a little bit inside, but a lot of people from outside came, and
Yeah.
you didn't even have to announce it a lot. So it's like we're growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we want to make it small. This one though, like talking about the competition.
Yeah,
Yeah. Shameless plug.
let's
Do
end
it.
with that.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
we'll round it off.
what's the deal with the inside competition?
Yeah.
So after the wheel lift competition, which you know the 6 people will go through afterwards, more or less a month after that, we'll have our own weightlifting.
It's the 24th
It's
of
the
July.
it's the 23rd of July.
23rd.
It's going to be
July.
on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a little bit of like a summer weightlifting event.
Yeah.
We're gonna have different categories that you can compete in, and ultimately we're gonna have overall winners. That's based on the Sinclair score.
Yeah.
So it's based on how much weight you lifted in comparison with your body weight,
Yeah.
right? To
But
keep
it's
it-
just for everyone who can join, right? It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
so
who.
we're still working out some of the details because
Yeah.
we want to see how far we can actually do this, but also in terms of facilitating,
Yeah.
right? You know,
But it's gonna be like a competition, right? You have
it's
3
competition rules.
snatches.
You have 3 lifts,
three
attempts,
lifts,
yeah,
3
for the
snatches.
snatch and the clean and jerk,
Yeah.
and
And then you total by Sinclair and by the
Exactly.
body weight. you
Exactly.
get,
Exactly.
Okay,
Then
cool.
we have our results, and then you get to hear if you win or not.
Yeah.
yeah.
But to add to that, like I'm competing a little bit right now. I did 2 competitions, and I have to tell you guys, like, for me, it's not about winning because I cannot win. My numbers are not that I can win right now. Something.
You can't win yet.
No, not yet. Hey,
very
2 years
careful.
masters. I'm gonna be
Masters. I was just about to say that. Wait for the Masters.
Yeah,
yes.
man, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm training hard
Yeah,
for the
nice,
masters. I'm
nice,
gonna be. Hey,
nice.
you guys gonna come at
Nice.
championship
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Hey,
There you go.
for reals.
There you go.
Let's go. But yeah, so it's not about like going there and like winning or thinking you're gonna win or maybe not. But it's also about like doing the best lift you can. I
Yeah.
think if you're doing a lot of weightlifting or if you're starting to like it, just sign up when it can and see how your lifts look, or
Yeah.
like you can have a technical PR, or you can
Yeah.
really want to know what your PR is.
Yeah.
Like, don't think about, oh, I'm not gonna join because I cannot win it, or
Yeah.
like,
No.
oh, my body weight is
Yeah.
too heavy for my lifts. Like, you guys see me train a lot, and my body weight is too heavy for my lifts. So just do it. Just it's just for the fun.
Like people always want to see the end result, but
Yeah.
they tend to forget the actual process. That's I think the beautiful thing with everybody that knows what discipline is that the process is the real reward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
So
When
that's
you
why
start
if you really
working,
want to see, like,
yeah, you know, once you get there to the point, that's what it is.
Yeah.
No, but definitely some good stuff. I think we covered a lot
Yeah.
for this podcast. If you guys have any questions about it, you guys can always feel free to just shoot them up to us, reach out to us, and the likes. We're going to be closing it out from here. Kelly, thank you very much. BT, thank you very much. We will keep on training because we still got some stuff to do. A couple more weeks, right?
Yeah,
what?
we have now we are at the start of week 4.
Yeah,
So
so
we
that's
have
6 more
7,
weeks.
including this one, is 7 more weeks to go.
7 more weeks to go.
Yeah.
It's in Arnhem.
Right.
If everyone wants to join,
Yeah.
we're gonna rent a bus. Maybe I can get a bus from work.
Yeah.
No,
And
it's all like a limo.
keep the Instagram in sight because we'll be posting more about the July weightlifting.
BC's
Yes.
weightlifting event. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We still encourage everybody to just join the classes to
Yes.
see how it is.
Yes.
Obviously, if you know the coaches are always ready to help. Kelly's ready to help because she's a
Kelly wants money. Be ready to help.
PT's.
No. You can always.
Pop-
Guys, don't walk through my camera, please. Oh my gosh, leave my camera alone. 7 a.m. people and 9:30 people.
All right, well, it's gonna be some fun stuff. So definitely hit us up and continue on training. Like always, stay vigorous, guys.